Come in, come in. Oh, hi. Hi, nice to see you. I've got something to show you. I've been waiting for this to come back from the framers, which it did today. Come over here and see. I've just got a new picture hanging on the wall here. Go and have a look at it. It came as a great surprise and a present, and it's by a really good Dutch artist called Martin Buys, and we got into correspondence and to know one another a bit. And he's been following the development of my Arthurian tales, which I've read some of to you, and he decided to make this picture. It's called Malcolm Guy, Painter with Words, and it's absolutely brilliant. If you look closely, you'll see, and apart from the fact it's an amazingly good pen and ink portrait of me, the palette has all the letters of the alphabet which are being squeezed out of the tubes and even still in the water. But then when you look at the figure of Arthur the King, if you go up and look at that, if you look closely, you'll see that I'm painting letters. And if you were able to look even more closely, you'd see that it's not random letters on there. It's actually the text of my poem, and particularly of the prelude part of my poem. And it's got even, I think the bit where my brush is, says, "Be still ere you begin," which is one of the things I say to myself at the beginning of the whole sequence about how to be in the right frame of mind to take up such an epic tale. So he sent that to me. That is the original pen and ink drawing. He's allowed me kindly to use it, you know, reproductions of it as well, but that is the original signed by the artist. And it feels a bit odd, of course. I mean, I wouldn't personally go and, as it were, order a portrait of myself and put it up in my room. It would be a bit odd. But actually, when it comes to you as a gift, I realise it's quite significant. So that image you've been looking at, I mean, as I look at it now, where I sit in this chair, I can be reminded of every day of this is the thing I'm called to do. That's my core thing. I'm saying no to lots of other things at the moment in order to be able to write that. And I must just diligently take my palette of letters and words and continue to paint with them. So anyway, getting that back from the framers today naturally put me back in mind of my Arthurian things, and I have been working on them actually in the last few days. I've made further progress. I'm coming towards the end of the first book of the second volume, so the fourth book altogether, which is about how Arthur is raised and nurtured. He's fostered by a knight called Sir Ector, and he doesn't know that he's Arthur. He knows his name is Arthur, but he doesn't know he's going to be the king. He doesn't know he's Arthur's son, although he knows he's not Hector's son. And it's a great opportunity for me to talk about the way he's nurtured and the way Merlin wants him to be nurtured. Merlin, of course, having been asked to take him there by Uther, or Uther being advised by Merlin. So I think I did read to you a bit about Merlin coming to the postern gate of the castle at Tintagel and taking the baby wrapped in swaddling bands. I mean, it's a very short part of Malory. Here's Malory. So the bit I'm now trying to sort of write up into ballad form, I mean, literally, it says, "When the child is born, let it be delivered to me," this is Merlin speaking, "at yonder privy postern, unchristened. So like as Merlin devised it was done, and when Sir Ector was come and had made fiance to the king for to nourish the child, the king granted Ector great rewards. Then when the lady was delivered, the king commanded 2 knights and 2 ladies to take the child, bound in a cloth of gold, and that ye deliver him to what poor man ye meet at the postern gate of the castle. So the child was delivered unto Merlin, and so he bare it forth unto Sir Ector, and made an holy man to christen him." Do you notice that? There's the kind of unchristened and then christened. It's a key element. "And named him Arthur, and Sir Ector's wife nourished him with her own pap." And then, of course, Mallory just fast forwards to when it's time for Arthur to come to London and pull the sword from the stone and be discovered to be the king. He's not really interested in the interim. But of course we are. So I've already read to you, I think, the description of Merlin taking, as it were, receipt of the boy. But I thought I'd read you the bit about when he arrives at Sir Ector's bringing the baby with him. So, I want to find the right bit. You will have noted, of course, that, yes, the fostering of Arthur here. Oh, if you're going to steal from the best. I mean, these are archetypal stories, but it's all there in the opening of Harry Potter, isn't it, where Hagrid arrives with the baby, on a flying motorcycle and delivers him to this, ordinary couple on an ordinary street, and, and young Harry is fostered and only discovers at a certain crucial moment that he was a wizard. So all of that is really from Arthur. So anyway, I think you might like this. It's partly because I think about back being unchristened and then christened, and I think about the fact that on the one hand, he is to be a Christian king, and on the other hand, he is partly being advised at the very least, if not formed, by a possibly druidical wizard. Anyway, here's the fostering of Arthur. I hope you enjoy it. After the storm comes calm and peace, after the darkness, light. The wizard rode from dark to dawn, holding the babe so newly born. The low bright sun that winter morn dispelled the shades of night. They came at last between high hills unto a valley fair. Sheltered alike from wind and snow, they saw the silver stream below, on whose banks, still beneath the snow, wild flowers and verdant grass would grow, when kindly spring would come and blow her warm, life-giving air. And at the valley's head there stood a stately castle keep, its gate and drawbridge opened wide, across the moat on either side, the good folk all astir inside, but lately roused from sleep. Across the drawbridge, through the gate, unto the keep they came. The gatekeeper knew Merlin well, for he was famed in many a tale, for wise words and a kindly spell, and now he came unto the vale that would be Arthur's home. Dismounting there, he bid them keep his steed in their best care. He strode towards the central tower, where lord and lady kept their bower, and waited on him in this hour, and greeted him full fair. Sir Ector kept the manor there, alongside his young wife. Their ways were blithe and fair and free. They practised hospitality, and honoured truth and courtesy as blessings in this life. And they themselves had late been blessed, and brought to birth a son, an infant yet, a 3-month boy. Young Kay was all their pride and joy, their only little one. Welcome, good Merlin, welcome back to our own hearth and hall. The storm through which you rode last night gives way to calm and peace and light. Your precious burden glads our sight, and comforts one and all. And Merlin took the chosen child, a babe in swaddling wrapped, and showed them their new foster son, and in that dawn his bright eyes shone, and sure they loved him as their own, and they both smiled and wept. I charge you both, good Merlin said, to raise this child with love, to keep him safe and secret here, away from war's alarm and fear. Let Kay become his friend and peer, and may they grow together here, and foster brothers prove. And though we 3 the secret keep, that he is Uther's heir, breathe no word of his royalty, but treat both children equally, imbue them with your courtesy, to do what's true and fair. Indeed, since Kay your eldest is, let Arthur learn to serve, and when the 2 lads come of age, let Arthur be his brother's page, for we have learned from saint and sage that those who rule must serve. He who would lead must follow first, the ruler must obey. Did not the mighty King of Kings, as keepers of the new faith sing, kneel down before his following, and wipe their feet, self-humbling, and wash their sins away? So, bring the boy to christening. Let good priests say the prayer. Yet let him also hear old lore of elf and fay in days of yore, of holy hill and hidden door, of fairy, fell and fair. For lo, the dead and risen God is Lord of every time. He was foretold in Druid spell. He comes to judge and yet fulfill the hidden truth in ancient tales. His reign will lift the misty veil that lies over our time. With that the wizard took his leave and summoned his great steed. I will return, he told the pair, odd times when there is time to spare, though fake folk may well be unaware and only see a stranger there, a beggar man in need. Sometimes when you ride out with Kay, your only son and heir, to show him all the land you hold, as field and forest, flock and fold, and show him too to young and old at tourney and at fair, then I will seek your foster child, where he may walk alone, and teach him all the ancient ways amongst the fair folk, elves and fays, for he must learn to love and praise fair Logres in its mysteries before he takes the throne. And so wise Merlin rode away, and they took up the child, and kept his origin unknown, nor ever hinted at his throne. And when they kissed him as their own, the baby laughed and smiled. So there you are. He's been delivered to Sir Ector, and then I have several more sections that I've written already about his growing up, and this volume will end with their arrival and the sword and the stone, and then the next volume will pick up with the sword and the stone again, and then his crowning and so on. So lots still to do, but hopefully time to do it in. Thanks for dropping round. It's nice to drop back into the Arthur things as well. Cheers.